Hello, everybody. It is December 18th, 2020, and you have made your way to the Daily Ring, where we bring you straightforward news and let you formulate your own opinion and have a discussion in the comments. I am the Clapper, and we are going to get it started off right now. And this is something that's hitting close to home with me because born and raised in Chicago, Illinois. And I gotta tell you, I'm not too happy with this story. Chicago mayor criticized after city lawyers try to suppress video of botched police raid. I'm sure you guys have heard about this. If you haven't, man, I don't know where you've been looking because it's been all over the place. The mayor of Chicago was under fire Wednesday following revelations that city lawyers had tried to block a local TV station from airing body camera video of police handcuffing a naked black woman during a botched raid last year. The video of police officers smashing open the door of Anjanette Young's townhouse in February 2019 and mistakenly detaining the social worker was obtained by the local CBS affiliate and aired Monday evening over the city's objections. I don't believe it's fair that the city has spent the last 2 years telling me they did nothing wrong, not holding the officers accountable, not working with my attorneys to figure out how to resolve this, an angry Young said Wednesday. Which, gotta say, I agree with her. And I don't think that this should be a white and a black thing either. I think that this is a terrible thing that would happen to any race. And I think it will happen more in the future if it's not taken care of. I have to tell you, Mayor Lightfoot, not too happy to say that I was born in Chicago, Illinois. I used to be proud to say that, but lately, not too much. So that's my opinion on it. What do you guys think? Tell me in the comments. And we're going to go on to the next story. Let's get Lightfoot out of there. All right. So, an Alaska healthcare worker had severe allergic reaction to the new Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine. Bartlett Regional Hospital in Juneau, Alaska, developed a severe allergic reaction shortly after receiving the vaccine Tuesday evening and had to be hospitalized overnight. During a media briefing Wednesday, health officials said the middle aged woman had no history of allergies and had never experienced anaphylaxis, a severe and life threatening allergic reaction. Man. Bartlett Regional Hospital officials said all 96 of its workers who received the vaccine Tuesday were observed for 30 minutes after the shot. The woman started feeling flushed about 10 minutes into the observation period and took Benadryl and antihistamine. Well, you know, gotta say, I'm going back and forth on this one. I understand that people want it, and I think it should be your choice, but I've heard a lot of things lately of mandatory vaccines, possibly even employers making you take one before they will employ you. What do you guys think? Tell me in the comments. COVID is having a devastating impact on children, and the vaccine won't fix everything. It has been almost 10 months since COVID 19 began battering families in the United States, putting parents out of work, shrouding their homes in grief and loss, and shutting children out of the schools that taught and cared for them. It's all taken an unthinkable toll on children, a social, emotional, and academic ordeal so extreme that some advocates and experts warn its repercussions could rival those of a hurricane or other disaster. Recovery from Katrina wasn't a 1 year recovery. We didn't just bring the kids back and everything fell into place. And this will be the same, said Bethany Gross, the Associate Director at the Center of Reinventing Public Education at the University of Washington, who studied New Orleans schools after the 2005 hurricane and is now tracking COVID 19's impact. I got to say, in my opinion, I think this does have a huge thing on our children. I mean, I see the schools in my own neighborhood, and there's actually box tape on the playgrounds because the kids have to stay 6 feet away from each other. And it's so sad to drive by and you see them all alone and they are yelling at each other across the fields or the parking lots or wherever they're having the gyms now, just because they can't even go and hang out with their friends for the half hour or 45 minutes that they get. It's turning into a sad world, folks. All right, so next on Let's see. We're going to go down to the bottom here. We're going to mix it up a little bit. 10 states sue Google, alleging deal with Facebook to rig online ad market. 10 states sued Google Wednesday, accusing the search giant of running an illegal digital advertising monopoly and enlisting rival Facebook Inc. in an alleged deal to rig ad auctions that was codenamed after Star Wars characters. The complaint filed in U.S. District Court in Texas alleges that Facebook emerged in 2017 as a powerful new rival to Google, challenging the Alphabet Inc. unit's established dominance in online advertising. Google responded by initiating an agreement in which Facebook would curtail its competitive moves in return for guaranteed special treatment in Google-run ad auctions. Google's internal code named for the alleged Facebook deal referenced characters from Star Wars, according to the suit, which redacted specifics. A person familiar with the matter said the code name was Jedi Blue, after the sci-fi franchise's Jedi Knights. Google is a $1 trillion monopoly, brazenly abusing its monopolistic power, going so far as to induce senior Facebook executives to agree to a contractual scheme that undermines the heart of the competitive process, Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton, who led the suit, said in a statement. So what do you guys think? I mean, we're getting into some heavy stuff here. Facebook has been in a lot of trouble lately, and I think we got some more news on them later. So let's get this out of here real quick. All right. House Republicans urge Trump to veto omnibus spelling bill. Call example of swamp politics. Get you out of here. Let's stop this. Wow. Look at that. You can't even get off the ad. Unbelievable. That's crazy. Wow. Okay. Anyway, group of House Republicans on Wednesday urged President Trump to veto an approximately $1.4 trillion omnibus bill being negotiated in Congress, describing it as an example of swamp politics in Washington, D.C. A letter signed by 14 Republicans, including Representative Andy Biggs of Arizona and Chip Roy of Texas, describes the measure as a massive take it or leave it bill negotiated behind closed doors that expands government, spends at record levels well above 2011 base cap levels, and funds unnecessary or even harmful federal programs. And they do have the bill right here that you can read. By the way, all these articles and all the bills will be linked in the description if you want to take a look at the full article. Negotiations were expected to resume Thursday among congressional leaders in an effort to come to an agreement on the massive spending bill and to prevent a government shutdown, as well as a separate coronavirus stimulus package. I'm hopeful by tonight we'll have an agreement on the omnibus. Yeah, well, we'll see, because I believe this was a couple days ago. Let's see. Yeah, December 16th. And pretty sure that they tonight, December 18th, they put in a stop to that. So I don't know. We'll update you on that soon. Get rid of that one. See what's next. Come on. There we go. Democratic governor encourages people to stay home but gets caught out at a wine bar. Huh. Imagine that. The governor of Rhode Island is facing backlash this week after she was photographed at a wine and paint night just days after she had discouraged inessential activities to curb the spread of the coronavirus. The picture taken by Erica Olivares last Friday shows Democratic Governor Gina Raimondo sitting at table in Barnaby's public house in Providence without a mask. Let's see if we can find this picture. Oh, no, they don't have it. All right, well. Oh, well. Olivares told the station That backlash over the photo was blown out of proportion because Raimondo had only taken off the mask to drink her wine. Well, you know what? That doesn't excuse her statement right here of discouraged inessential activities. Pretty sure that wine tasting is an inessential activity there, Governor. What do you guys think? I think that's pretty ridiculous. And I've seen a lot of governors and a lot of mayors polling this lately. We've had one in New York, California, now Rhode Island. Who do you think is going to be next? Let's have that discussion. Let's get a poll going on what state's going to be next to tell you to lock down, and then their governors and mayors go out and party, do whatever they want. Don't you love that? 2 California strip clubs can remain open, set only own coronavirus rules. A judge says 2 strip clubs in California can remain open and set their own coronavirus mitigation rules amid Governor Gavin Newsom's shutdown orders. A judge ruled Wednesday. The case in San Diego County could have implications for restaurants too, many of which have been forced to close or scale back operations. It kind of says that restaurants can reopen, Klein told the newspaper, but the caveat, but the caveat there may be that someone has to be stripping, which seems so wild to me. If that's what it takes for us to reopen our business, taking off our clothes, I'll do it. You know, and I've seen a lot of people starting to go in this route. There was about 2.5, 3 weeks ago, there was a California church that did the same thing. The pastor would take off his tie, the congregation would hold up dollar bills, and they were able to stay open because then they were considered a strip club. So fight way back any way you can, I guess. All right, next up. A lot of coronavirus, but that's kind of expected right now, huh, folks? Coronavirus causing delivery scams to rise. With a surge in home deliveries due to COVID-19 shopping restrictions, delivery scams have become the #1 cell phone fraud, according to new research. Bogus delivery messages were the scam most often reported by consumers in 2020, according to complaints monitored by Bin Verified, a background check and public data company. Nearly 1 in 10 of all reports received from January through mid-October were related to bogus delivery messages purporting to be from FedEx, DHL, the U.S. Postal Service, and other carriers, the company said. These scams first exploded last Christmas season, but with the COVID-19 lockdown, scammers have found it to be a perfect playbook during the pandemic. And Verified analyzed 182,185 spam call complaints, and nearly 1 in 10 were related to fake delivery messages, or about 18,000 complaints. That's crazy. Have you guys got one of those? Let me know in the comments. I believe I have received one of those very recently. All right, now we're getting into some weird stuff. Mysterious radio signal detected from exoplanet in deep space could give new way to examine alien worlds. Yeah, let's mute you. I don't want to hear that. To date, more than 4,500 exoplanets have been discovered as scientists explore the universe to better understand it and perhaps find signs of life. Despite that, they've never found a radio emission emanating from any of these faraway planets. Apparently, I'm having a hard time reading tonight. Until now, a group of researchers believes that they have detected radio bursts that originate in the constellation Boötis. I hope I'm saying that right. Boötis? According to their study published in the scientific journal Astronomy and Astrophysics. We present one of the first hints of detecting an exoplanet in the radio realm, the study's lead author, Cornell University researcher Jake Turner, said in a statement. The signal is from the Tau Boötis system, which contains a binary star and an exoplanet. We make the case for an emission by the planet itself. From the strength and polarization of the radio signal and the planet's magnetic field, it is compatible with theoretical predictions. The Tau Boötis system is approximately 51 light years from Earth. A light year, which measures distances in space, is approximately 6 trillion miles. We're talking about pretty far away, and we're getting radio signals. What do you guys think? You think there's other life out there? You think it's just coincidences? Let me know in the comments. Get these discussions going. By the way, guys, this video is recorded because our YouTube channel is brand new. We're also on BitChute, and we will be on DLive later on also. But if you are on YouTube, we will have live videos coming very soon as our channel gets verified. So Google wins EU antitrust nod for 2.1 billion Fitbit deal. And it's apparently been a problem with some people. Alphabet's Google won EU antitrust approval on Thursday for its $2.1 billion bid for Fitbit after agreeing restrictions on how it will use customers' health-related data. The deal had triggered criticism from privacy advocates on both sides of the Atlantic consumer organizations and Google rivals about the company's market power and the use of people's health data in targeted advertising. Fitbit, once the leader in the wearable devices market, has lost market share to Apple, Xiaomi, Samsung, and Huawei in recent years. The European Commission said it had agreed concessions with Google, valid for 10 years with the possibility of another 10-year extension addressing competition concerns, confirming a Reuters story in October. Google will store Fitbit user data separately from Google data used for advertising, and it will not use data from Fitbit and other wearable devices for Google Ads. Users can decide whether to store their health data in their Google or Fitbit account. Well, if they own Fitbit now, what, you think those things aren't going to be tracked? I think there's a Pinocchio nose growing somewhere. What do you guys think? Tell me in the comments. Can't wait to get the discussions going with you guys in the live streams. Hopefully by Monday we will be up and running on that, and we will be here with you 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, doing this with you. So make sure to hit that subscribe button and come back in the future. Until then, let's get into the next one. Ukraine says dozens of police hurt in clashes with lockdown protesters. One police officer was knocked unconscious and 40 others received chemical eye burns from gas on Tuesday in clashes between police and thousands of people protesting a government lockdown to fight the coronavirus, the Interior Ministry said. You know, here's my opinion on it. We had our own lockdown in the United States. Obviously, if you're listening in the United States, you have experienced some of that. If you're outside of the United States, you know, some of you have it worse than us. But here's my thing, is we already locked down, and we locked down for, 6 weeks? If the lockdown worked, why are the numbers going up? And even if you ask the opposite question, if the lockdown didn't work, but we've all been wearing masks now, why are the numbers going up? It just doesn't make too much sense to me. Do I think coronavirus is real? Absolutely. Do I think the numbers are very inflated? Absolutely. You know, I don't think you walk into a hospital for a gunshot wound and then walk out, well, I guess you wouldn't walk out, but pass away, unfortunately, and then they blame it on coronavirus because you had it in your system. I just don't agree with that, and it's been proven that that has happened. So, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. If you guys know anybody that has coronavirus, you know, we wish them a speedy recovery, and I hope they're doing well. Dr. Anthony Fauci, independent spirit in the U.S. has hurt us during pandemic. Dr. Anthony Fauci complained Wednesday in an interview with the Washington Post that America's tradition of individualism and freedom is making the coronavirus pandemic worse. The Washington Post asked Fauci whether the spike in cases is the fault of America's individualist tradition or President Donald Trump's refusal to demand national mandates. Fauci replied that the independent spirit in the United States of people not wanting to comply with public health measures has certainly hurt us a bit. Who the hell are you? Oh, you have the American spirit, and because of that, you're killing people. Fauci also complained about people who continue to treat the virus like a hoax. Like I just said, I don't believe it's a hoax, but I believe that the numbers are inflated. That it has been proven. I believe that people have died from this, but when you look at the survival rate, I mean, 97% overall, and our lowest rating is anybody over the age of 70. It's at about 94% survival rate. So, do I think it's real? Yes, but is it, as bad as they're making out to be? No, because what would happen is if people weren't locking down right now, and it's as bad as they said it was, you'd have people dying in the streets. And you wouldn't have to convince anybody to lock down or wear a mask at that point. But apparently they have to sell you on this stuff. So, what's your opinion? Let me know down in the comments. Scientists plan mission. Oh, let's get this out of here. Scientists plan mission to biggest iceberg as it drifts towards island. I'm sure you guys have seen this. This is a view of the A68A iceberg. Scientists are preparing for an urgent mission to the world's biggest iceberg, which is on a collision course with the island of South Georgia in the southern Atlantic Ocean. The A-68A iceberg, which is larger than Luxembourg, broke off from the Larsen Sea ice shelf in Antarctica in 2017 and has been drifting towards the island ever since, which, if we knew about it back then, why have we not been taking care of it? But I guess that's a story for another day. It threatens to wreck the rich ecosystem around South Georgia by tearing up the seafloor, which is home to mollusks, crustaceans, sponges, and other life, and by chilling the water and releasing meltwater into the sea. I apologize, guys. I cannot read tonight, but it's also the middle of the night. First episode. Wanted to get it to you guys, so I'm working tirelessly on it. So excuse me for that, but let's get back to it. Researchers at Antarctic Survey, BAS, will fly out to the Falklands on 11th of January, quarantine themselves to ensure they are free from coronavirus, and then embark on a 3-day voyage to the iceberg on board the research ship, the RRS James Cook. And here, this right here, quarantine themselves to ensure they are free from the coronavirus. So you're telling me that this place that is that's bigger than, well, it says right here, which is larger than Luxembourg, is floating towards South Georgia, and this could be such a catastrophic thing and could kill you also while you're there, but make sure you're free of the coronavirus first. All right. Well, priorities, I guess. Let me know what you think in the comments. And let's go to the next one. RT News. Cambridge ranked one of UK's worst universities for free speech days after the institution pledged to tolerate all views. A report penned by a think tank has flagged Cambridge University as hostile to free speech barely a week after the prestigious UK university received accolades for pledging a new tolerance within its halls for all viewpoints. The institution was ranked among the worst UK universities for free speech by the London-based Institutes for the Study of Civil Society, known as Civitas. The think tank's Free Speech University Rankings, FSUR, listed Cambridge as one of the 48 other universities, including Oxford, as most restrictive when it comes to free expression. Civitas analyzed over 3 years of campus censorship between 2017 and 2020 on 137 different UK campuses, assessing a number of variables, including to what degree student societies discouraged free speech, as well as how speech codes and harassment policies may restrict open debate. Of the surveyed institutions, 35% were given the most restrictive designation in regards to free speech, while only 14% were deemed mostly friendly to an open marketplace of ideas. Man, it's becoming like that more and more all over the world, including here in the United States. What do you think of the free speech issues that we got going on right now? Let me know down in the comments. All right, so let's get into the next one. False information. Instagram censors claim that Biden's 1994 crime bill led to mass incarceration of Black Americans. Instagram has been actively censoring a meme about President-elect Joe Biden's legislative record after it flagged as false an artist's post linking the ex-senator's 1994 crime bill to mass incarceration of black Americans. The political meme uploaded by Brad Trommel on Wednesday shows an old photo of Biden and then President Bill Clinton, along with a caption that reads, "Find someone that looks at you the way Biden looked at Clinton after Clinton signed Biden's crime bill into law, bringing mass incarceration to black Americans." The Facebook owned platform quickly flagged Trommel's image as false information. Instagram also cited independent fact checkers from USA Today, who apparently say the information has no basis in fact. Thus, before being able to view the image, the platform requires users to first read a disclaimer, which links to a USA Today article allegedly debunking the claim that the 1994 crime bill led to mass incarceration of black Americans. So there it is. The dreaded false information and checked by fact checkers. What do you guys think? I know that 1994 crime bill didn't do a lot of good for a lot of people, especially in the black community. But hey, what do we know? It was almost 30 years ago, right? Seattle politician who defunded police calls cops after being targeted in an attack that could be decriminalized by her own proposal. A Seattle councilwoman who voted to slash the city's police budget called the cops after her home was attacked, local media reported. Ironically, the culprit could avoid charges under a plan introduced by the politician. Councilwoman Lisa Herbold phoned 911 on Friday after an unidentified man threw a rock through a window of her West Seattle home, according to a local outlet, My Northwest. A neighbor who witnessed the attack said the culprit was an unathletic white male who was wearing a black hoodie and jeans. Unfortunately for Herbold, if the perpetrator is eventually identified, he could potentially be let go if the city adopts the councilwoman's own criminal code reforms. So, there's a little bit of karma for you. Oh man, what is the world coming to? All right, next, Saudi Arabia starts mass vaccination program against COVID-19, becoming first Arab country to roll out the Pfizer jab. The Saudi Ministry of Health has announced its mass inoculation program has commenced, and the minister himself was one of the first recipients of Pfizer's vaccine in the United Kingdom. Saudi Arabia became the first country in the Middle East to start vaccinating people against COVID-19 on Thursday, the Ministry of Health confirmed in a tweet. The first doses of the U.S.'s Pfizer jab arrived in 2 batches on Wednesday morning and evening. On Thursday, Health Minister Dr. Tawfiq al-Rabia spoke of his happiness and optimism as he received his vaccine and the program kicked off. "I was happy this morning to take the corona vaccine with a group of citizens. I thank the custodian of the 2 holy mosques and His Highness the Crown Prince who put human health first. Today is the beginning of the breakthrough of this crisis, and we are optimistic about its end. You are healthy," he wrote. In a typically impressive video, the Ministry of Health shows Al Rabias entering a pristine, state-of-the-art hospital and receiving the vaccine. So, I would play that video for you, but I'm going to play with you guys one later, and that is of our Vice President Pence taking the coronavirus live on TV. Israeli government confirms it will issue COVID-19 vaccine passports, granting access to places restricted to other populations. Israel has confirmed that it will issue official identification to those who receive a coronavirus jab, which will be used to bestow certain privileges not enjoyed by people who remain unvaccinated. Guys, if you think that there is not a bigger thing happening behind the scenes with this whole COVID vaccine and coronavirus, I don't know what else to tell you. I mean, that's just my opinion, but there's too much going on and too much where it's going to change our lives in a major way just to be able to take a shot. 2 weeks after the second shot, a person who was vaccinated will receive a green passport. free people from isolation requirement, and allow people to enter places that will still be restricted to other populations. So, in other words, you don't have that Pfizer jab, man. You can't come here, you can't go there, you can't eat here, you can't drink here, you can't pee here. Let's be real about it. All right, what's next? The end of the Virgin Wars. Streamers and viewers weigh in after Twitch announces simp ban. Simp, a term used to describe lonely men who shower women on the internet with attention and cash, will soon be banned by Twitch when used as an insult, prompting colorful analyses regarding hate speech and greasy virgins. The popular streaming platform revealed that the terms simp, incel, and virgin would all be prohibited as derogatory terms as part of a set of new rules aimed at cracking down on sexual harassment, which will go into effect next month. Twitch COO Sarah Clemens said in a live stream town hall on Wednesday that the company was taking action because the words are often used to negatively refer to another person's sexual activity. She also announced that the platform will screen custom made emoticons for the banned terms. The policy revamp is likely to have a significant impact on both streamers and viewers. Twitch has become a virtual mecca for sexually frustrated men who drool over female streamers, leading to the ascendance of the terms simp and incel. The decision to blacklist the terms was seen by some as a positive, but perhaps largely symbolic, step towards ending harassment on the platform. Others were more critical of the move, arguing that IP address bans made more sense than trying to block specific words. One unimpressed observer complained that simps will be guarded from harassment even as Twitch continues to promote people with a history of sexist, racist ideals while banning small content creators for a few seconds of music. Comments echoing similar frustration slammed Twitch for protecting men from insults while allegedly doing little to shield women from sexist remarks. Well, there you have it. Twitch is cracking down on the simps. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. All right, we're going to do this one more article, and we're going to take a quick break. So, I really wanted to focus on this one with you guys for a minute because everybody's so worried about the coronavirus, but I've not seen one thing on American media about this. This is from RT News, and it is a deadly brain-eating amoeba spreading across U.S. via interconnected freshwater systems. Cases of a brain-eating amoeba reported across the southern U.S. have begun spreading northward via the country's freshwater systems, in a worrying development for health officials already struggling with the coronavirus pandemic. According to a new study, the single-celled brain-eating amoeba known as Naegleria fowleri, I hope I got that right, has been relentlessly spreading northward over the past 4 decades. Researchers from the Center for Disease Control and Prevention tracked N. fowleri's 4-decade killing spree across the southern U.S. and noted cases are occurring at higher latitudes, likely due to the effect of climate change. The number of cases has remained the same year on year, but the geographic distribution is cause for concern. N. fowleri causes a devastating and often fatal brain infection called primary amoebic. I'm not even going to say that because I know I'm going to get it wrong. I'm just going to stop right there and let you guys see it. It's also known as PAM, so we'll go with that. So often fatal brain infection called primary amoebic something, shortly put PAM. All right. It is found in warm freshwater such as lakes, rivers, and reservoirs. In each case, contaminated water goes up a person's nose, from which the infection spreads upwards into the patient's brainstem through their olfactory nerves. Infections have shifted northward by approximately 8.2 miles per year, with cases in the study tracing back as far as 1978 all of which were tied to recreational water exposure. The researchers also noted higher daily average temperatures recorded in the 2 weeks prior to each infection. It is possible that rising temperatures and consequent increases in recreational water use, such as swimming and water sports, could contribute to the changing epidemiology of PAM. Unfortunately, there is currently no rapid test for the presence of N. fowleri in water, so the only public health advice at present is to avoid warm, fresh water during periods of good weather, or alternatively, for swimmers to plug their nose or keep it above water. So here's my question. And you guys let me know what you think in the comments, but here's my question. First of all, it is possible that rising temperatures and consequent increases in recreational water use, such as swimming and water sports, could contribute to the changing epidemiology of PAM. Unfortunately, there is currently no rapid test for the presence of N. fowleri in water, but there was a rapid test for coronavirus. That sounds fishy to me. We've been dealing with this since 1978 and we still haven't found out a way to test it in the water or found out a way to combat it yet. But coronavirus has a vaccine in less than a year and we've been testing it since the beginning. So what's going on here, guys? And then they go out of their way to say avoid warm, fresh water during periods of good weather, or alternatively for swimmers to plug their nose or keep it above water. So you're telling me that since it's a nice day out and I want to go for a swim with my family in the lake, I can't because I got to worry about a brain-eating amoeba now that we've known about since 1978 and we still haven't taken care of it? What's going on, folks? What's going on? And amazingly, this is Russian news and US has yet to report on it. I haven't heard anything. This is the first I've heard about it, and I haven't seen it since. Have you guys seen anything about it? Do you guys know anything about it? Let me know down in the comments. All right, our next story. Courts haven't decided facts on voter fraud, found excuses to dismiss Trump's cases, says Rand Paul. Senator Rand Paul rejected the notion that courts have decided the facts amid allegations of election fraud during the November 3rd election. The courts have not decided the facts, Paul said during an election integrity hearing on Wednesday. The courts never looked at the facts, the courts don't like elections, and they stayed out of it by finding an excuse. The Kentucky senator went on to say that courts mainly rejected lawsuits from President Donald Trump's team or other election-related lawsuits on procedural grounds. Former special counsel and U.S. Solicitor General Ken Starr told Paul and other Senate Homeland Security members that of the 60 court cases involving voter fraud allegations, the vast majority of them were tossed by judges over procedural reasons instead of merit. Starr, meanwhile, said that Pennsylvania election officials flagrantly violated the state constitution before the November 3rd vote. The legal question there is a very easy one to decide, Paul said in a response. Even as a physician, I can figure out that the Secretary of State cannot create law. He continued, I think there is a lot of work to be done. What do you guys think? Are you guys thinking that there's a lot of voter fraud out there, or do you think the election was fair? Tell me in the comments. I want to get a discussion going on that one, definitely. All right, guys, I'm going to let this ad go by, and then we were going to talk about a Florida man who saved his puppy from alligator's jaws, shares an update on dog's recovery. If you haven't seen the video yet, I'll show you in a minute. Actually, I'll show you now. Let's watch this video real quick. I'm going to pause the mic, and we'll get this going. All right, so graphic content warning, guys. It does show an animal in distress, so if that's something that bothers you, you might want to turn away for a second. It's only 27 seconds, and then we'll be back. Just amazing what the guy did. Apparently, the dog is doing very good. That's the man who saved him. There's his wife and the little pup. But recovering very well, guys. So if you did see that story a few days ago, just to let you know the dog is living and doing well. Recovering very nicely. Wanted to pop that story in for you guys. All right, on to the next one. Biden selects Deb Haaland as Interior Secretary, Michael Regan as EPA Chief. President-elect Joe Biden intends to nominate Representative Deborah Haaland, a Democrat, to be his Interior Secretary and Michael Regan to lead the Environmental Protection Agency. Sources familiar with the decision told NBC News. If confirmed, Haaland, who is 60 years old, will become the first Native American to serve as a cabinet secretary. You know, I think that's a great thing. We're showing a lot of diversity in our government now. Hopefully she's going to be doing a good job. DNI John Ratcliffe confirmed there was foreign interference in November elections. Yeah, I want to continue for free. Director of National Intelligence John Ratcliffe confirmed that there was foreign interference in the 2020 election, according to CBS correspondent Catherine Herridge. Well, DNA Ratcliffe leads the 17 intelligence agencies as he has access to the most highly classified information that is held by the U.S. government. And he told CBS News that there was foreign interference by China, Iran, and Russia in November of this year, and he is anticipating a public report on those findings in January. Ratcliffe's office did not immediately respond to the Epoch Times request for confirmation of the report. Ratcliffe's statement contradicts others made by national security officials. So what do you guys think? Was there really interference? Is this just a big game that they're playing? Let me know in the comments what your opinion is. I do want to hear it. And let's go to the next one. I love this, and I'm going to let the video play if you haven't seen this already. Adam Carolla supports Gavin Newsom recall, challenges Californians. Stop being sheep. California seems like a horrible place to spend a pandemic. I say that as a New Yorker whose governor invented tyrannical lockdown mandates. California looks like a pseudiddly ducky place to live, if I got that right. And that's just talking about the COVID tyranny. That's not getting into all the homeless and poop. I will, however, give California credit for one thing. When the voters finally get fed up, they aren't afraid to recall their governor. There's a recall Newsom effort underway, which is already halfway to having the necessary signatures. Count at least one celebrity endorser, Adam Carolla. And I'm going to let you guys watch this really quick, couple-minute video, uninterrupted. This was pretty great. Check it out.
Times may be tough, but TMZ's got your back. We'll fill
after the ad. So sick of ads. If you don't like ads, let me know down in the comments. Say no ads. We ain't gonna put them on. All right, here we go.
So little bit, what's going on? I mean, I saw the tweets, so I'll be blunt, you know, you're like, fuck Newsom. Are you?
Fuck Newsom. Fuck that idiot.
So is this primarily about what's happening to the small businesses, to the restaurants here, or you just want to have dinner?
Well, a friend of mine from high school owns this place, so
okay.
We thought we'd do that. But listen, I don't know who Newsom thinks he is. He's not a monarch.
No.
You can't shut down society. You got to offer some proof why it's dangerous. And by the way, sheep, wake up, sheep. It's scary. It's not Newsom. It's all the sheep that just listen to Newsom.
I get it. So emergency rooms, I think they're at 1.7% capacity. I mean, how does that factor into allowing, you know, these businesses to be open? Do you think that's a problem? Do you think that dining out is contributing to
not outdoor dining?
Not outdoor dining.
Well, I'm not seeing any studies.
Right.
So there's no data.
Okay.
So we're going to go outdoor dining.
Okay, and I want you to enjoy your meal. I don't want to keep you too long. This Newsom recall thing. What do you think about
God.
that?
It's terrible.
It'd be nice.
Yeah. Do you think it'll gain some ground?
I think it is gaining some ground because he's an imbecile and he's incompetent and he's running this state into the ground. So hopefully we can listen. We should recall him and just replace him with one of those plastic owls they put on top of restaurants so seagulls don't shit on the roof. And we would be much better off. You understand? We'd be much better off with no replacement than with Gavin Newsom.
Right.
All right. We're going to eat burgers.
Okay, cool. Hey, yeah, thank you so much, Adam. Appreciate it. Hey, real quick though, Mike Pence says he's going to get the vaccine. Will you be doing so when it comes out?
As soon as Mike gets it, I'm getting it.
You're next. Yeah. Will you go to bat for people who are a little bit scared? Will you rally your supporters to say it's safe to get a vaccine? Is that something you do? Sort of get behind the vaccine
listen,
movement?
if you're an idiot, you're an idiot. If you don't want to take it, don't take it. But don't be an idiot. Just take it. Who cares?
Take it and go out and enjoy your dinner.
Have some burgers. Yeah.
Hey, thanks for your time, guys. I appreciate you. Bye.
So as you can see, guys, well, let's stop that. We don't want to hear that. All right. So as you can see, Adam Carolla definitely wants Newsom gone. I think that the whole Newsom situation is way out of control. I think he did some things that he really shouldn't do, and now he's paying for it. And I believe this is the second celebrity that has come out recently and said something about it. And the petition, I might have a story tonight for you guys in there. If not, I will tell you that I think the petition is up to around 800,000 signatures to get Newsom out. So what do you guys think? I especially want to hear from our California viewers. What do you think of Newsom? You want him gone? You think this is blown way out of proportion? What's your opinion? Let me know. All right, getting into some fun stuff. Enjoy watching Santa Claus and a gun-toting elf take down a car thief. This was actually really fun. I wanted to show this to you guys too. Only in 2020 can we have more than one story involving a small Santa Claus and a gun. At least this Santa wasn't a jerk face making a little boy cry. Also, the gun in question is most definitely not a Nerf gun. We go now to a California mall. Lots of customers were inside getting their holiday shopping on. Unbeknownst to them, 3 no-good nicks were in the parking lot doing some holiday shopping of their own, something with 4 wheels and no monthly payments. That's when they discovered they were about to have a very bad day. This mall is patrolled by Saint Nick and his trusty sidekick, Tipsy McFluffy Toes. Tipsy appears to have a concealed carry license. Let's check it out.
Get him, Santa!
Undercover police officers with the Riverside Police Department busting a suspected car thief.
Ah, get him, Santa. See, Santa saves the day. Thought that was a fun little story for you guys. And I have another one here for you. Check this Santa out. Arresting a drug dealer after breaking door with a sledgehammer. Check it out. I mean, if you're going to bust a guy, why not do it dressed as Santa, right? Merry Christmas, drug dealer. All right. Here's one that I know you guys will love. Anthony Fauci goes full Grinch, demands Americans not see family for Christmas. 2020 has been a sucky enough year without going into reruns. I feel like we've seen this movie before when experts tried to ruin Thanksgiving. Celebrating with families old and busted. Staying at home in fear is the new hotness. Never mind that the virus surge we expected to see post-Thanksgiving never came. It will totally come this time. The experts are super serious. Just ask Anthony Fauci. He's giving up Christmas, so you should too. You know, he says, our kids are not going to come home. That's painful. We don't like that, but that's just one of the things you're going to have to accept as we go through this unprecedented, challenging time. Stay at home as much as you can. Keep your interactions to the extent possible to members of the same household. This cannot be business as usual this Christmas because we've already in a very difficult situation and we're going to make it worse if we don't do something about it. That means do not go over to your house or your family's houses and open presents because, that's just going to spread the coronavirus more. What do you guys think? Are you going to spend the holidays with your families? Let me know in the comments down below. And let's go on to the next one. Peter Navarro issues report on voting irregularities. The emperor in the election has no clothes. Peter Navarro, who serves as an advisor to President Donald Trump, concluded in a report on the integrity of the 2020 election that the allegations of irregularities are serious enough to warrant an urgent probe and substantial enough to overturn the results. The findings of the report, released on December 17th, entitled The Immaculate Deception, support the claim that the election may well have been stolen from Trump. Navarro, who is director of the White House Office for Trade and Manufacturing Policy, produced the report in his capacity as a private citizen. If these election irregularities are not fully investigated prior to Inauguration Day and thereby effectively allowed to stand, this nation runs the very real risk of never being able to have a fair presidential election again, Navarro said in the report. And you know what? I agree with him. I think we need to get down to business and really see what happened. Whether the voting comes out as a true number for President-elect Biden, or if it comes out where we need to flip everything around and Trump gets 4 more years, it doesn't matter at this point. It's coming down to our democracy, people, and we need to make sure that our democracy and the very fundamentals of it stand. Or we're never going to be trustworthy of our government, our elections, anything like that ever again. It'll be over. So, what do you guys think? Let me know. I know some of you are probably mad at me for saying that, but it's true. And you know what? I'm not saying that you should fight for Biden or you should fight for Trump. Have your political beliefs. Support who you want to support. I have no problem with that. That's the whole point of this show. We just want to bring you the news. But I will say, in my own opinion, that no matter who gets into office, if we do not go and look at these irregularities when so many people are concerned about it, we'll never have that trust again, in my opinion. All right, next story. Mar-a-Lago neighbors tell Trump to spend his post-presidency days elsewhere. A lot of people have been talking about this. Neighbors of Mar-a-Lago, President Donald Trump's private club in Palm Beach, Florida, that he has called his winter White House, have a message for the outgoing commander-in-chief. We don't want you to be our neighbor. That message in a demand letter was delivered Tuesday to the town of Palm Beach and was addressed to the U.S. Secret Service, saying Trump lost his legal right to live at Mar-a-Lago because of an agreement he signed in the early 1990s when he converted the storied estate from his private residence to a private club. The legal maneuver could force Palm Beach to publicly address whether Trump can make Mar-a-Lago his legal residence and home, as he has been expected to do when he becomes an ex-president after the swearing in of Joe Biden on January 20th. The contretemps sets up a potentially awkward scenario unique in recent history in which a former Oval Office occupant would find himself having to officially defend his choice of a place to live. It also could create a legal headache for Trump because he changed his official domicile to Mar-a-Lago, leaving behind Manhattan, where he lived before being elected president and came to fame as a brash, self-promoting developer. Trump originally tried to register to vote in Florida using the White House in Washington as his address, which is not allowed under Florida law. He later changed the registration to the Mar-a-Lago address. So what do you guys think? If you were living next to this place, would you tell Trump to get out, or would you want your former president to be able to live there? Let me know. AOC, Nancy Pelosi needs to go, but there's nobody to replace her yet. Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez believes the Democratic Party needs new leadership, telling The Intercept in an interview that it's time for House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer to go. But the left, she said, currently has no plan on how to fill the subsequent leadership vacuum. If you create that vacuum, there are so many nefarious forces at play to fill that vacuum with something even worse, she told Jeremy Scahill during an interview aired Wednesday on Intercepted this week. Pelosi cruised to re-election in a virtual caucus vote last month and will face a full House floor vote for the speakership in January. She's expected to remain speaker, but has almost no room for error after a disastrous performance in the general election cost the caucus at least a dozen seats. With a single-digit majority, she can only afford to lose a handful of Democratic votes on the House floor, or else she'll be short of the required 218, which would then throw the contest back to the caucus. So, what's your opinion? Do you agree with AOC? Do you think Nancy Pelosi needs to go? Do you think Chuck Schumer needs to get out of there and we need some new blood in the Democratic Party? Or do you like where we're at now? I don't agree with AOC all that much, but on this one, I do agree. All right, next cop held an AC repairman at gunpoint over a false claim he had 750,000 fake ballots. An air conditioning repairman was driving his truck through Houston in late October when suddenly a black SUV slammed into his tail. When he got out, the SUV's driver leaped out and pointed a gun at his head, police said. When police arrived, the gunman offered an incredible tale. The driver, he said, was the face of a vast election fraud scheme and had about 750,000 fake ballots stuffed inside his truck. That story was totally bogus, though. The man's truck was full of nothing but AC parts, and the gunman, Mark Anthony Aguirre, a former Houston Police Department captain, had been paid more than $250,000 by a right-wing organization to pursue far-fetched voter fraud conspiracy theories. On Tuesday, Aguirre was arrested and charged with felony aggravated assault with a deadly weapon as part of a bogus voter fraud conspiracy. He crossed the line from dirty politics to commission of a violent crime, and we are lucky no one was killed, Harris County Democratic District Attorney Kim Ogg said in a statement. An attorney for Aguirre, 63, disputed the charges, claiming to KTRK that the case is political. I think it's a political prosecution, I really do, Attorney Terry Yates told KTRK. He was working and investigating voter fraud, and there was an accident. A member of the car got out and rushed at him, and that's where the confrontation took place. It's very different from what you're citing in the affidavit. So what do you think? You think this guy should be going to prison right now, and that it was all just a right-wing conspiracy? Or do you think he deserves it? All right, guys, we're going to get into the next story. We're finding out that wearing a used mask could be worse than no mask amid COVID-19. Wearing a used mask could be more dangerous than not wearing one at all when it comes to warding off COVID-19, a new study has found. A new 3-layer surgical mask is 65% efficient in filtering particles in the air. But when used, that number drops to 25%, according to the study that was published on Tuesday. Researchers from the University of Massachusetts Lowell and California Baptist University say that masks slow down airflow, making people more susceptible to breathing in particles, and a dirty face mask can effectively filter out the tiniest of droplets. It is natural to think that wearing a mask, no matter new or old, should always be better than nothing. Our results show that this belief is only true for particles larger than 5 micrometers, but not for the fine particles smaller than 2.5 micrometers. So, guys, basically what we're saying, if you're not washing your mask on a constant basis, or if you're not throwing away a mask after using it and you're putting it on again, you know, your chances of contracting COVID-19 get better and better. So be washing your masks, be throwing them out, get new ones. I know it's probably damaging your pocket linings right now with not being able to find work, or if you're out of work, and if you are in that situation, our heart and prayers go out to you. Hopefully that gets corrected for you soon. But in light of all that, be washing your mask or throwing it away for your own safety. All right, we're going to get into our next story. Germany enters harder lockdown as virus deaths hit new high. Germany reported a record level of coronavirus deaths as it entered a harder lockdown Wednesday, closing shops and schools to try to bring down stubbornly high new daily infections. The country recorded 179 virus infections per 100,000 residents over the last 7 days. That's a new high and significantly more than the 149 per 100,000 reported a week ago by the country's disease control center. It also blew past its previous daily death toll, with Germany's 16 states reporting that 952 more people had died of the virus, the institute said. That was far greater than the previous daily record set Friday of 598 deaths, although it included 2 days of figures from the hard-hit eastern state of Saxony, which did not report Tuesday. It brought the country's overall pandemic death toll to 23,427. So, Germany's going on stricter lockdowns. Let's see. In addition to closing shops and moving children to remote learning for the few days before the Christmas holidays, private gatherings are being limited to 2 households with a maximum of 5 people, among other things. On Berlin's upscale, I'm not even going to try to say that, Boulevard, Berlin resident Nori Odin looked around at the empty streets and shuttered shops in disbelief as the lockdown measures announced Sunday were put into force. It's very strange. It's not normal, said the 46-year-old bakery manager. I don't know what these politicians want to do. They left it all open for too long, and now all of a sudden we had to quickly buy everything in 2 days. We people don't know what they are doing anymore. 71-year-old asked, this is certainly harmful to the economy. Well, what alternative do we have? And I know a lot of people that are asking that. Our country is not in the greatest shape right now either, along with many other countries in the world. And, like I said before, if you're in that situation, my heart goes out to you. It really does, because it has affected me personally and my family personally. From moving from one state to another because there was no work, money ran out. Things are crazy right now. So I do feel for anybody that is going through that situation, and my prayers do go out to you. But let's get into the next one. Air Force uses AI on military flight for the first time. Artificial intelligence controlled sensor and navigation system aboard a U-2 Dragon Lady reconnaissance aircraft on Tuesday in what the Air Force is hailing as the first military flight with an AI co-pilot. Putting AI safely in command of a U.S. military system for the first time ushers in a new age of human-machine teaming and algorithmic competition, Will Roper, Assistant Secretary of the Air Force for Acquisition, Technology, and Logistics, said in a statement Wednesday. Failing to realize AI's full potential will mean ceding decision advantage to our adversaries. The U-2 was flown by a human pilot identified by the Air Force with only their call sign, Voodoo, a major assigned to the 9th Reconnaissance Wing at Bell Air Force Base in California. The AI algorithm, dubbed AR-2TU, in a reference to Star Wars droid R2-D2, was responsible for sensor employment and tactical navigation, according to an Air Force news release. Though lacking those lively beeps and squeaks, R2 surpassed its motion picture namesake in one distinctive feature. It was the mission commander, the final decision authority on the human-machine team. Oh, man. Oh, it's getting crazy, folks. Do you agree with AI? Do you think it should be used in our military planes like they're using it in the Air Force? Let me know down in the comments. Right. Get into the next story here. Lab-grown meat to make historic debut at Singapore restaurant. Lab-grown chicken meat will make its debut at a Singapore restaurant in a culinary first this weekend after the company behind the product announced its inaugural sale Wednesday. U.S. startup Eat Just said earlier this month that its product had been approved for sale in the city-state as an ingredient in chicken nuggets after Singapore became the first country to allow meat created without slaughtering any animals to be sold. Consumption of animals is an environmental threat as cattle produce potent greenhouse gas methane, while logging to create pastures destroys natural barriers against climate change. On Wednesday, the company said it had made its first commercial sale of the product to 1880, a restaurant in Robertson Quay, a posh riverside entertainment center. Eat Just chief executive Josh Tetrick said the news moves us closer to a world where the majority of meat we eat will not require tearing down a single forest, displacing a single animal's habitat, or using a single drop of antibiotics. Well, what do you guys think? Do you think we should have that lab-grown meat going through our systems? I mean, it can't be the best thing for you, right? Oh, no. We'll see. Wearing someone else's face. Hyper-realistic masks to go on sale in Japan. Look at this thing, guys. Oh, well, I tried to get you to look at that thing, but there it is. Let's look at this full screen. What do you guys think? That's crazy. Let's get into the story. Shui Okawara's masks won't protect you or others against the virus, but they will lend you the exact appearance of an unidentified Japanese adult whose features have been printed onto them. Mask shops in Venice probably do not buy or sell faces, but that is something that's likely to happen in fantasy stories. I thought it would be fun to actually do that. The masks will go on sale early next year for 98,000 yen, or about $950 a piece, at his Tokyo shop. Kamiya Omoto? I don't know. If you want to look it up, bang right there. We will have the link in the description. The products are popular as accessories for parties and theatrical performances. All right, let's look at this video real quick and see what's going on here.
I own a mask shop, so I thought it would be fun selling and buying people's faces. That's why I do it.
いやもうなんか信じられないぐらい自分の顔買ってくれって。
It's unbelievable, but so many people from around the world are asking me to buy their face. The number of people that want to buy these masks was more than expected too. I think the world is crazy and fun.
まあ世の中はクレイジーで楽しいなって感じですね。
Crazy and fun, he says. Crazy and fun. You know, this kind of freaks me out. Hold on, guys. Let me. Jeez, nobody cares. All right, so this kind of scares me. I mean, he's buying and selling people's faces, which you got to think that's got to be some kind of security threat or fraud, maybe in somebody's identity, to the point where, I mean, what if I put on that mask and robbed someplace or robbed a bank or killed somebody? And they have to identify me from my face and I'm wearing one of these? That's crazy. What do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments. And if anybody goes and buys one from this guy, let me know. California woman admits scam to obtain $500,000 in COVID-19 benefits. Los Angeles, December 16th, a Southern California woman who prosecutors say obtained more than $500,000 in COVID-19 benefits using stolen social security numbers and other personal information, pleaded guilty on Wednesday to a federal criminal charge. Kara Marie Kirk Connell, 32, admitted in a plea agreement to purchasing stolen identities through the dark web and watching YouTube videos on how to file fraudulent unemployment claims, prosecutors said. Kirk Connell pleaded guilty in U.S. District Court in Los Angeles to a single count of use of an unauthorized access device. You know, just stopping it right there. She learned how to file fraudulent unemployment claims watching YouTube videos. I hope she knows that all your stuff like that is tracked if you're not using certain programs or like, oh, I can't even think of the word right now because it's so dang late at night. But if you're not completely protecting yourself, your IP address and stuff is picking up all of that. Going on the dark web and watching the YouTube videos and stuff, I mean, that's throwing up red flags right there. So, number one, you already screwed up before you even got started. The Riverside County woman faces a maximum of up to 10 years in federal prison when she is sentenced in April, although federal sentencing guidelines typically call for less time behind bars. As part of her plea deal with prosecutors, Kirk Connell admitted procuring debit cards worth more than $500,000 from the California Employment Development Department using stolen personal information. California EDD records showed that the cards and identities were used to obtain approximately $534,149 in COVID-19 related unemployment funds, of which nearly $270,000 had already been spent, according to an affidavit filed as part of the investigation. Crazy. What, you take $534,000, you spend $270,000 of it, and you expect to get away with it, especially after watching YouTube videos of how to file fraudulent unemployment claims? And you shopped on the dark web. Well, you know, I guess they never put in that article that she was the brightest crayon in the box, so I'll just go with it. All right, getting to the end here. Michigan fraud witness debunks Dominion CEO testimony. Says Paulus falsely denied internet connection and ballot dumps. Michigan's top witness of election fraud debunked recent claims that Dominion CEO John Paulus made while under oath to a state Senate committee. He stated none of the machines were connected to the internet. Election fraud witness Melissa Carone said. There is a 53-minute audio recording of the Dominion training session in which they admit that all of their hardware is connected to the internet. I watched the hearing. I've watched pretty much all the hearings that they've had. and I've watched the Michigan hearing with her, and I have to say, man, that I think that there's a lot of points that she's telling the truth, especially when this is coming down to an affidavit. Not going to play the whole video for you because, as you can see, it's 29 minutes long, but there is her statement with the full video. Link's going to be down in the description. This is on One American News Network, so if you would like to go watch that. But definitely interesting, some of the things that are coming out and some of the things that they're looking into now. So it's going to be interesting to see in the weeks to come what happens, where we go from here. Group of incoming GOP members demand Speaker Pelosi open investigation into voting irregularities. More than 24 GOP representatives elect are demanding House Speaker Nancy Pelosi launch an investigation into the 2020 election voting irregularities. In a letter to the Speaker on Tuesday, the 26 incoming lawmakers said the election process has devolved into chaos. They cited reports of missing or unverified signatures on absentee ballots, restrictions on election observers, and missing voting machine memory cards. The group said their constituents are deeply concerned about the integrity of the election and are demanding the irregularities be seriously investigated. In urging Pelosi to put politics aside, the group said protecting the integrity of our elections is not a partisan issue. They emphasized lawmakers on both sides of the aisle should agree that this is a paramount issue. And I agree, that's kind of what we were saying earlier. If you want to go read more of this article, we will have it in the links in the description. All right, here we go again with the Hunter Biden. New leaked emails of Hunter Biden show joint venture deal with Chinese billionaire. Recently obtained emails from a business partner of Hunter Biden show an attempted plan to get millions of dollars from the former chairman of a Chinese energy company. Hunter's former associate, Tony Bobulinski, revealed a 2017 email showing Hunter asking Chinese billionaire Yi Jianming for $10 million to properly fund and operate a joint business venture between Jianming and the Biden family. Back in 2017, Jianming was the chairman of China Energy Company, the China Energy Fund Committee, and was working to secure a deal worth $9 billion with a Russian oil company. A year later, prosecutors in the U.S. were investigating Jianming for committing economic crimes, including bribery. He was in custody in China, but has since disappeared, with the president's personal attorney, Rudy Giuliani, claiming there's only one real possibility for where he is, at the bottom of the river. Hunter's partners also said the former vice president was scheduling meetings with Chinese business interests. Biden's dealings in China are currently under investigation by the federal government. So, here it is. This is nothing new. Whether you like them, you don't like them. This is just, these are facts for you of who we just elected as our president standing right now. That blows me away. Anyway, New York to adopt higher minimum wage at end of the year despite pandemic economic damage. New York lawmakers are moving ahead with a minimum wage hike in the state despite the economic effects caused by the coronavirus pandemic. According to reports, the hike is set to take effect on December 31st and will boost wages in different parts of the state between 70 cents and $1 an hour. The State Department defended the action while noting some markets are leading the state's recovery. Business advocates and state Republicans, however, have called for a pause in the hike. They cited the devastation to local businesses during the pandemic. I think a better way that New York could make things work is stop this ridiculous regulation that we put on our small businesses, said State Rep. Chris Tague, who is a Republican. If our small businesses had an easier route to success, they'd be able to afford to pay their employees more money. The increase is part of a tiered scheduled the increase is part of a tiered schedule adopted in 2016 with the eventual goal of $15 per hour across the state. What do you guys think? Especially want to hear people from New York. Would it help you? Would it make things worse? Let us know. Coroner in Colorado slams COVID-19 death data, says it's inflated. We were just talking about that earlier. As the number of coronavirus deaths continue to grow, one coroner said many of the deaths listed are actually not from COVID-19 at all. Brenda Bach, a coroner in Grand County, Colorado, said her jurisdiction lists 5 coronavirus deaths. However, as Bach tells One American News, what the data does not reveal is that 2 of the victims actually died of gunshot wounds. They were actually gunshot wounds, Bach stated of the deaths. The people had tested earlier in the month for COVID, and because they did have COVID, our state health department is listing them as coronavirus deaths. She added it is absurd these cases are listed as such. Bach also noted inflating the data will only hurt communities by driving away visitors and instilling fear in residents. When you start jacking up the number for death rates, Bach said, they're going to start closing counties down. Bach mentioned this isn't just a statewide issue. I think this is something that's happened nationwide, the Grand County coroner stated. I have heard back from coroners in other counties that they're doing the same thing, even with motor vehicle accidents. She noted if patients had been tested for coronavirus within 30 days of their death, the county lists them as COVID-19 deaths. So in saying all that, what do you guys think? You know, we just hit the mark of over 300,000, I believe. A total of having it. Look, guys, I've seen this since the coronavirus pandemic, in air quotes, started. This is getting out of hand. You know, if they die from a gunshot wound, they die from a gunshot wound. If they get in a car crash and they bang their head off a steering wheel and that's it for them, but they had tested positive for coronavirus 2 weeks ago, their coronavirus death? I don't see the logic behind that, and you shouldn't either. Sorry to say it, but that's the way it is. That's ridiculous. Ridiculous. But let me know what you think in the comments. All right. 2 Minneapolis city council members flip-flop on defund the police movement amid $8 million budget cut. 2 Minneapolis city council members have flip-flopped on the stance to defund the police. Earlier this year, city council members Felipe Cunningham and Steve Fletcher joined 7 of their colleagues at a rally which pledged to dismantle and defund the city's police department. All that money has been going into the police department, and what have we gotten in return? Cunningham questioned at the rally. Pain, trauma, and hurt. The vision for defunding means we intend to end the Minneapolis Police Department as we know it, Fletcher said in June. Months later, the 2 council members deny the movement was ever about defunding the police. So I think it's worth saying, Steve Fletcher claimed, that defund is not the framework that the council has ever chosen. I think it's important to name, Cunningham added, that dismantle does not mean dismantle into nothing. Nice backpedaling there, guys. All right, if you want to read the rest of the article, we'll have it down in the description. What do you think? Are you for defunding the police? Are you for keeping it the same? Do you think we need more training with them? What's your opinion? What's going on here? I want to hear from you guys. Tell me in the comments. All right, next story. Senator-elect Tommy Tuberville, I hope I got that right, Tuberville, like the name though, to object electoral votes on January 6th. Senator-elect Tommy Tuberville, Republican, may be joining Republican efforts to challenge the Electoral College vote count on January 6th. According to reports on Thursday, Tuberville is likely to join Representative Mo Brooks in this effort to push against votes for Biden. When both chambers of Congress meet, Brooks indicated he plans to reject the Electoral College vote submissions from states with flawed election systems. Brooks also noted it is within Congress's lawful authority to accept or reject Electoral College submissions from states that are not worthy of their trust. Although he already has support from within the House, Brooks would need just one senator to officially force both chambers to take a vote on the election. Rumors have circulated that Senator Ted Cruz and Senator Rand Paul may join in on these efforts as well, although neither has confirmed these plans. So, what are you for? This is when I keep asking you guys, what are you for? I want to hear from you guys. Let's get the discussions going, especially on the live streams. I know this one is recorded, but we can still have a discussion in the comments. And once we get the live streams going, we will have the chat up on the screen and we can have discussions on all these things. All right. Next story. Supreme Court throws out challenge to Trump's census plan to exclude documented immigrants. The U.S. Supreme Court on Friday dismissed a challenge to President Donald Trump's plan to leave undocumented immigrants out of the final census count, giving the president a partial victory, though possibly a temporary one. By a 6-3 vote, the court said too much is unknown about whether the administration can even carry out the plan and about what effect it would have on the states. This case is riddled with contingencies and speculation, the court said in a short, unsigned opinion, referring to the state's challenges to Trump's plan. The policy may not prove feasible to implement in any manner whatsoever. The census required by the Constitution and conducted every 10 years is used to determine how many members of Congress each state gets in the House of Representatives. The data is also used to calculate a local government's share of $1.5 trillion in funds under many federal programs. So, do you think that this is something that we should correct in the future? Do you think we should correct it now? Do you think that even needs to be corrected? Let me know down in the comments, and let's go on to the next one. All right, here it is, guys. I was talking about it earlier, and we are going to watch the video when it comes up. But Pence receives COVID vaccine in televised appearance and hails medical miracle. So, once it starts up here, guys, I will let you guys check it out. Come on. Thanks for the 5G, Verizon. All right, let's get into it. There he is, getting the good old Pfizer jab.
I especially want to thank the fine medical team at Walter Reed Hospital that administered our vaccine today. I didn't feel a thing. Well done, and we appreciate your service to the country. You know, as the Christmas holiday approaches, this is always a season of hope. We gather here today at the end of a historic week to affirm to the American people that hope is on the way. And Karen and I were more than happy to step forward before this week was out to take the safe and effective coronavirus vaccine that we have secured and produced for the American people. It's a truly inspiring day.
You know, I'm sorry, but I was watching that and doesn't really look like Pence was doing too good after that Pfizer jab. In fact, have you guys seen, I don't know if I have it in here. Let's see. I don't. I saw a news article today about a nurse or something. Have you guys seen this? Let me know. But a nurse was getting it live on TV or something, got the Pfizer jab and immediately fainted from it. Now, I don't know if that's because she's scared of needles or there's some other kind of thing, but I mean, that's not good. People are fainting right away. And he didn't look too good when he was up there speaking. He looked like he was having a problem there for a second. So, what do you guys think? Are you guys going to go out and get the vaccine when you can? Are you for it? Are you against it? Let me know down in the comments. Suspected Russian hacking campaign hit over 40 organizations, Microsoft says. The suspected Russian hacking campaign that has torn through the U.S. government zeroed in on more than 40 organizations, Microsoft's president said Thursday. The campaign, which U.S. officials believe is the work of Russian intelligence, began at least as early as March, though it was discovered only last week and has broken into multiple federal agencies. A multi-agency statement described it this week as ongoing, leaving open the question of how many organizations were compromised and how badly. Microsoft's statement is the first to provide a detailed estimate of how widespread the hack is. While the company doesn't have total visibility into the hacking campaign, it has significant insight thanks to government and corporations' uses of Windows and its antivirus software Defender. Oh boy. So, big hack. We think it's Russia. And this is obviously a developing story. So we will probably have more on Monday about that. Gonna move on to Democrats. Let me get this off. Steering committee bucks AOC. Picks other NY lawmaker for coveted spot. I thought this was kind of funny when I read it. The House Democratic Steering and Policy Committee on Thursday voted to seat Representative Kathleen Rice on a coveted committee over her New York colleague, Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, in the latest example of House Democrats bucking the firebrand who represents the Bronx and Queens. With 5 open slots on the House Energy and Commerce Committee, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi nominated 4 people and left the 5th spot open for members to choose between the 2 New Yorkers in a vote. Politico first reported. Fox News confirmed that Rice decisively won the vote 46-13. Ocasio-Cortez expressed disappointment Friday about the loss. It's tough, always, she told poll reporters at the Capitol. You always kind of shoot high, and you don't always get what you want. And that's, I think totally understandable. Oh my. The Energy and Commerce Committee handles some of the most critical legislation in the House, from the environment to healthcare to nuclear facilities. Its site says that it has the broadest jurisdiction of any authorizing committee in Congress. So AOC looks a little bit disappointed there that she didn't get on the committee, but I guess she'll have to work harder and try harder next time. All right, here we go, guys. I knew I had it somewhere. I thought I did. Tennessee nurse passes out after getting COVID-19 vaccine. A head nurse at a hospital in Chattanooga, Tennessee, caused a brief scare on Thursday when she fainted shortly after receiving the Pfizer-BioNTech's COVID-19 vaccine, according to the reports. Tiffany Dover, the nurse manager at CHI Memorial, received the vaccine and then a short time later addressed the media. Video circulated online that showed her taking questions from reporters and then lose her train of thought. I'm sorry, I'm feeling really dizzy, she said. I'm sorry. And there is a... Here,
It's really... I'm sorry, I'm feeling really dizzy.
Yeah, I'm feeling a little dizzy.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And to me, her eyes don't look too good. I don't know. What do you guys think? It says she walked away from the rostrum and fainted. Doctors who were nearby managed to catch her. News Channel 9 reported that minutes later she was able to address reporters. Doctors said the vaccine ingredients did not cause the episode. What did then? First, she's okay. She takes the Pfizer jab and then starts to feel dizzy and passes out. And it's not related? Nah. Sounds a little fishy to me. What do you guys think? All right, here we go. Of course, Tom Cruise to wrap filming for the year early following outbursts. All right, guys, this is getting out of hand. Tom Cruise is taking a breather, which he should after that outburst, if you haven't heard it. Man. Following 2 tirades on the set of Mission Impossible 7, sparked by production employees not following strict protocols put in place to avoid the spread of coronavirus, the star will be temporarily sidelined. Several employees have reportedly quit after the actor's loud and expletive-filled rants on set in which he threatened people's jobs. And it was crazy. Go listen to it if you haven't heard it. Now it appears the 58-year-old actor will be taking a break from filming the movie for an early Christmas holiday, according to The Sun. The outlet reports that Friday will be his final day on set for the year, and from there, he plans to take his private jet to Miami, where he'll spend some time with his son Connor. Yeah, what a great dad. You're such a good role model for freaking out like you did, and the whole country got to hear it. You know, I agree with him to a point with what he said. Do I think that he needed to express it in the way that he did, especially acting like he was better than the people working there? No, probably not. But that's just my opinion. What's yours? Let me know down in the comments. What do you think of Tom Cruise right now? Is he being an ass, or are you agreeing with him? All right. Get that out of there. Coca-Cola to cut 2,200 jobs globally. Coca-Cola confirmed to ABC News Friday that it was cutting approximately 2,200 jobs globally as part of a company reorganization plan. Some 1,200 of those job cuts will be in the U.S., and about 500 of them will be in the Atlanta area, where the company is headquartered, according to Scott Leith, the company's vice president of global, external, and financial communications. The Coca-Cola Company is on a journey to transform how it operates so we can emerge stronger from the pandemic and accelerate our growth, says Leith. The job cuts account for a sliver of the company's global headcount, which was 86,200 at the end of 2019. Its U.S. headcount was 10,400 at the end of 2019. The pandemic was not a cause for these changes, but it has been a catalyst for the company to move faster. So there you have it, guys. If you're working for Coke, like my aunt, I apologize if that's happening to you. I do not know what's happening with her. Maybe I should call and find out. But 2,200 jobs, that's a lot of jobs, especially right now. All right, guys, we got an amazing story coming at you right now. Motorist rescued after 10 hours in a car buried by a snowplow. A man who drove off the road in this week's snowstorm spent 10 hours trapped in his car after a passing plow and rapidly accumulating snow buried it. Finally managing to get a 911 call through and being rescued in the nick of time by a New York State trooper. Kevin Creason, 58, of Candor, drove off the road in the town of Owego and became plowed in by a truck. If he was in there for another hour, his body temperature would have gone lower, and I'm convinced he wouldn't have made it, State Police Sergeant Jason Cawley, who rescued the man, said in an interview. Crescent drove into a ditch around midnight and called 911 through the wee hours of Thursday, but had trouble connecting. The vehicle became completely disabled, authorities said, leaving Crescent without heat. He finally got through a few times and was geolocated, and not very well because of the spottiness of the reception, Cawley said. Wow. Just amazing. Amazing story. Guy's lucky to be alive. All right, got kind of a weird one for you. Corpse Bride Resurrection. Iran's zombie Angelina Jolie leaves jail days after being slapped with a 10-year sentence. Look at this girl. Why would you do that to yourself? Iran's notorious zombie Angelina Jolie Instagram model has reportedly been released from prison on bail just days after she was sentenced to a decade behind bars over her infamous photos. Now, guys, before we go any further in the story, I want you to understand the rights, freedoms, and privileges we have in this country because she got slapped with a 10-year prison sentence, and you will not believe the reason why. So let's get into it. Tehran native Fatima Kishvand, who goes by the name Sahar Tabar on Instagram, was first arrested by morality police in October 2019 and then handed a 10-year sentence in recent weeks for promoting public corruption. Tabar shot to global prominence in 2017 after posting a dramatic series of heavily edited photographs that portrayed her with a shocking, deathly complexion and extreme features. The bizarre images led many to compare her to the Corpse Bride cartoon character and to say she was a zombie version of Hollywood actress Angelina Jolie. There were rumors that Tabar had undergone as many as 50 cosmetic surgeries. Tabar later said the whole thing was a stunt that she pulled off using makeup and photo editing tools, sharing unedited photos of herself that proved she hadn't gone to an extreme measures. This is Photoshop and makeup. Every time I publish a photo, I paint my face in an increasingly funny way. It's a way of expressing yourself, a kind of art. My fans know that this is not my real face, she explained last year. So here's I guess she's got some makeup and stuff on, but I'm not buying it. I haven't seen her otherwise. However, these antics did not sit well with the Iranian authorities, and Tabar was charged with blasphemy, inciting violence, encouraging youths to corruption, and gaining income through inappropriate means, according to the Iranian news agency Tasnim. Despite being handed a 10-year sentence in recent days, Tabar has now left prison with U.S.-based Iranian journalist and activist Masih Alinejad crediting massive media pressure for her release. Crazy. Crazy. Man, I don't know. Her parents must be proud. All right. The Pentagon lost track of over half of sensitive equipment provided to Afghanistan's military. The U.S. military has failed to keep track of assorted sensitive devices such as night vision devices, surveillance systems, and other kit it provided to the Afghan government, a U.S. watchdog has found. The severe lack of accounting of the military toys provided to Kabul was exposed in a new report by the Special Inspector General for Afghanistan Reconstruction. Oh boy. Crazy times we are living in, folks. How could you just lose things like that? At least 12 dead and dozens missing after devastating torrential rain and flooding hit Brazil. Look at that craziness. Guys, it's getting crazy with the earthquakes and the floods all around. It's getting crazy. At least 12 people have lost their lives and another 24 are missing after rains, thunderstorms, and subsequent flooding hit the state of Santa Catarina in southern Brazil. Several landslides caused by the storm led to widespread destruction and blocked roads and left many areas without electricity and communications. Footage from the scene shows severe flooding in the streets. Severe. I mean, this is just a regular neighborhood, guys. Not good for them. Not good. Major damage going on. Please keep these people in your prayers. All right, next one. AOC promotes prostitution. Sex work is work. The fiery congresswoman from New York, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, just threw a bone to the libertarians in America. Far left rep promoted prostitution on Tuesday, declaring so-called sex work, a common phrase used among advocates of sex work. Sex work is work, Ocasio-Cortez wrote on Twitter, retweeting a Rolling Stone magazine story that accused the New York Post of shamming a 23-year-old paramedic for turning to solicitation subscription website OnlyFans. The federal government has done almost nothing to help people in months, Cortez wrote. We must pass stimulus checks, UI, small biz relief, hospital funding, etc. Keep the focus of shame there, AOC added, not on marginalizing people surviving a pandemic without help. So do you guys agree? Do you think sex work is just work and everything's hunky-dory and everything should be okay? What do you guys think? All right, guys, I thought this was an interesting one. Breakdancing to be added to the 2024 Olympic Games. The athletic style of urban dance was recognized by the International Olympic Committee on Monday and will be featured at the 2024 Paris Games in an effort to attract younger viewers. The competing teams could win a medal, the Chicago Tribune reports. Breakdancing was pioneered by hip-hop artists in the 70s and 80s, many of whom were black and Latino from the South Bronx. So, should be pretty cool. Would love to check that out. I know it does take some great upper body strength and leg strength, so, you know, I don't disagree. I think it should be recognized as an Olympic sport. Why not? Why not? All right, guys, I was saying this earlier when we were talking about the David Carolla video. Over 820,000 signatures collected to remove California Governor Newsom from office. California residents are calling out Governor Gavin Newsom for his hypocrisy and demanding the recall of his governorship. An entire citizen movement of thousands of volunteers on the ground in California are petitioning to have the governor removed from office. Their message is simple. What makes this different is it's Gavin Newsom itself, said Recall Gavin Newsom senior advisor Randy Economy on America's Newsroom earlier this week. This governor is his own worst enemy, and every day he does something more that puts him deeper and deeper into controversy, and he's become a problem here in California. Specifically, the citizens fault him for his leadership during the 2020's coronavirus pandemic. He shut down the fifth largest economy in the world the last 9 months, and every single person out there in California should be outraged by that. An impressive 820,000 signatures have already been collected by Economy's group. So, there you have it, folks. I think Governor Newsom's going to be out of there pretty quick. All right, guys, we got a bombshell report. Jared Kushner set up shell company that diverted campaign cash to Trump family members. Let's see what this is all about. Jared Kushner helped set up a shell company that secretly paid President Donald Trump's family members and spent nearly half of his 2020 campaign's funds. The president's son-in-law and White House senior advisor directed his sister-in-law, Laura Trump, Vice President Mike Pence's nephew, John Pence, and Trump campaign CFO, Sean Dolman, to sit on the Shell's company's board. A source familiar with the operation told Business Insider. The company, which was incorporated as American Made Media Consultants Corporation and American Made Media Consultants LLC, spent $617 million of the campaign's $1.26 billion war chest, according to campaign finance records. Trump's top advisors and campaign staff told Insider they were unaware of how the shell company operated, and campaign officials even conducted an internal audit of its operations under former campaign manager Brad Parscale, but never reported those findings. And the next campaign manager, Bill Stepien, hope I said that right, Stepien, had little involvement with AMC. Nothing was done without Jared's approval, said a former advisor to Trump's 2016 campaign. What Stepien doesn't know is because Jared doesn't want him to know. So, guys, looks like Trump might be in some hot water here. Or at least his family. Getting crazy. What do you guys think? Fun story for you. A 12-year-old boy has DJ equipment confiscated after organizing a rave in the school toilets. A schoolboy in year 8 had his speakers and disco lights confiscated after he arranged and hosted a rave in his school toilets. You can watch footage of the budding DJ practicing at home below, which, let's take a look. Okay, guys, he's good. Let's admit it, he's good. But you shouldn't be doing it at school. Cowbell was on the decks in the boys' lose at dinner time on Friday, 11th of December, when teachers busted the party. The 12-year-old, who goes to St. Anthony's Catholic College in Ermstorm, Manchester, had promoted his event on Snapchat the week before, posting the time and date of his DJ set. On the guest list were the whole of Year 8 boys. When the party was in full swing, Kale and his mates handed round Cadbury twirls and bottles of Lucozade, whatever that is, but the fun wasn't to last. Half an hour into his set, staff at the school shut the party down and took his equipment off him. There he is. Oh, too funny, man. Don't have raves at school, kids. All right, and getting into the last story of the show, Facebook took out a full page ad. Oh, wait. Get off Capital One. We got to show you this because it's too funny. Facebook took out a full page ad slamming Apple's move to protect user privacy, and it didn't go well. On Wednesday morning, Facebook took out a full page ad in the Wall Street Journal and other publications complaining that Apple's move to give users the ability to block ad tracking is bad for small businesses. There's more than a little irony that the world's second largest digital advertising platform took out a print ad to complain about the impending death of digital advertising if Apple gets its way. Maybe the biggest irony, however, is that Facebook's full page ad used roughly 185 words to make its point, which is considerably less than the more than 300 words it took to disclose all of the way it tracks users in Apple's new privacy nutrition labels in the iOS App Store. Getting crazy. In the ad, Facebook says many in the small business community have shared concerns about Apple's forced software update, which will limit businesses' ability to run personalized ads and reach their customers effectively. It actually does no such thing. Literally, the one thing new is that Apple will require apps to request permission from users before tracking them. Of course, Facebook knows that most people will opt out when faced with the reality that ad networks like Facebook are tracking their activity across apps and the websites they visit. Sure, it's true that targeted ads, or as Facebook prefers to call them, personalized ads, work. Do you know what else works? Peeking in someone's window to see what kind of shampoo and toothpaste they use and then sending them coupons for those brands. Of course, that doesn't scale nearly as easily as digital ad tracking. Never mind that I think we can all agree it's a gross invasion of privacy. What do you guys think? You think good old Zuckerberg should be invading your privacy like he does and tracking you and doing those ads? Or do you think you should have that privacy and you have a right to it? All right, guys, that was the show. Thank you for tuning in to the Daily Ring and spending a couple hours with me going over all these breaking news stories. We will have more for you on Monday when we go live. Make sure you tune in and chat with us. We'll be able to do a live chat, have some discussions with these things. They're not going to usually be recorded like this. Also, hit that subscribe button so you can get all the updates on when we do go live or post new videos. And make sure you follow us from all the social media links below, wherever you're at. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, we, Parler. We are all over the place. So no matter what you are on, we are there. Guys, thank you again for tuning in. Appreciate all of you. Keep ringing those freedom bells. Keep getting this news out there to people. And let's start formulating our own opinions instead of getting ones forced on us. We will see you next week, guys. Thank you for tuning in.